deans of the schools, directors of the institutes, chairmen of the departments, and UMOs and UMT family, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I welcome you all to today's event. It is something which will go down in UMT's history as a landmark. As we see in our country also, transition of power has been an issue. But UMT, alhamdulillah, for the past 4 or 5 years has successfully, it was basically Dr. Hassan's vision that he did the first transition of power and stepped up from the position of the rector. And after serving for 13, 14 years, he had this belief that the founder should not be involved in the management or the administration, and the university should be run by the professionals. And he knew that any organization that is linked with the founder and with the passing away of the founder, the institution goes down. So he was very far-sighted in this aspect, and he, in 2014, if I'm right, 2017, that was the first, transition of the power of the rector from Dr. Hassan to Dr. Aslam. And I remember he told me that when this selection process was going on, he formed a committee which interviewed a lot of graduates, which interviewed a lot of applicants, prospective people of high stature. And once the committee had, concluded their findings, they called Dr. Hassan. And they asked him, who is your pick? We have done our working, but now we want to know who is your pick. And he said that whoever is number one, that is my pick. And I remember that he told me that the first time he met Dr. Aslam was in the boardroom. He had never met him before. So this position of merit and this thought process has to be there from the top to the bottom. And I also remember one of the board meetings, he said that the family shouldn't be involved in the management. And this was 2016 or 17. And then he said that he even asked me to, come. He said, if you want to sit on the board, then you sit on the board. And if you want to work, then you work. You don't become a member of the board. Because then Dr. Aslam had joined, and he knew that, in order to create a culture of merit and professionalism, so there should not be, so the person at the top should not have any sort of hindrance. And I fully subscribe to this view. And we want to create an institution which is run by the faculty. And I remember Dr. Hassan also used to say this very proudly. He used to say that UMT is run by the faculty. It is run by the deans and the CODs. And we should obviously have devolution of power to the bottommost, because when you devolve power and when you devolve authority, then the responsibility, also is devolved, and then people start performing themselves because they know that we are responsible and we have to do things. And ideally, I shared this with some other people also, that I would ideally only want to visit once in 3 months. And I want you guys to run the university as if it is your own, as if you own this institution. And over the past few years, I've realized that this is exactly the case. And I was very surprised, because sometimes I used to answer emails at night, like 12 a.m., 12:30, and I used to spend like an hour at night answering emails. And let's say by 1 a.m. when I was done, I would have gotten 7, 8 more replies. So that got me, and I used to tell this to my colleagues in other institutions and my fellows, that I'm so proud of my UMT family and the staff and the faculty, because they are extra hardworking. They are so determined, and they are so passionate about what they do. And I've personally seen the efforts and the hard work that our people put in the university. And there's also another thing, that they do it selflessly. It's not like they know that we'll gain something out of it. I see that they have a passion for education, and they have a passion for learning, and they have a passion for the success of our participants, and they have a passion for research. So this is something which I realized in the last few years. Even with this, in this selection process, we advertised this position, and then we formed a rector search committee under the chairmanship of Dr. Talat Pasha, who's the Vice Chancellor of the University of Education. And what happened was that there were a lot of candidates, and then there were 3 candidates which were picked. There was a the final list consisted of 3 candidates in terms of priority, that 1, 2, 3. And I did not know. I actually had my personal pick, and it was Dr. Asif, but I did not know that which candidate will come up as the first, second, or third. And I was happy to see that Dr. Asif's name was recommended unanimously by the committee, which consisted of other senior higher education leaders and also members from the industry and other places, also member of the boards, member of our board. So this is also something which we have tried to continue, that the selection process at each and every level should be on merit, and it starts from the top. Because if the first person is, let's say, not if he isn't there on merit, then obviously everything else goes down. And I am actually, some of my friends and associates do not like me. The reason for that is they know I don't take any sifarish. And if someone even calls me, I tell them that if in the ad we now mention that if you give any reference, then you will be automatically disqualified. And I also, the only reason is that we want to create an institution that is known for its values and that is known for merit. And I remember we had a long time associate of about 30, 40 years, a family friend, and he recommended someone's admission, and that student had 2.49 CGPA and the requirement was 2.5. So I spoke to I think it was a director of the MBA program at that time. And I told him that this is someone who we have known, and his father was a member of the founding board of ILM. So they also had a contribution in UMTs, in ILM's, since the early days of ILM. And he obviously suggested this guy, and I told him that we have long-standing family ties, and his father was a member of the founding board of ILM, member of the board of trustees, and you should see if we can give him admission. And he, after looking at his case of whatever, he called me after 30 minutes, the director of the MBA program, and he said that admission is not possible. And I acknowledged this, reply, and then I told our friend, who was also now member of the rector search committee, that this admission isn't possible. So he was shocked, and he said, how long our relation is? I said, yes, about 40 years. So he said, this is such a small task and you can't do it. I said, what can I do? Our faculty is empowered, and they said no, so that means no. So then he became silent for a minute. And then he said one thing, which I will remember forever. He said, मुझे दुख भी है, लेकिन मुझे खुशी भी हुई है, क्योंकि इदारे इसी तरह बनते हैं. तो हमारा जो है, our goal and our drive is that UMT should basically be an institution which grows, which excels, and which progresses with and it's led by you people. And there's a culture of merit. And over the last few years, we've seen that UMT has experienced unprecedented growth in terms of learning excellence, teaching excellence, in terms of research, the way we adopted to the pandemic. We were one of the first pioneers in introducing hybrid online learning, and in many other factors also. I have a research and analysis wing at the Office of the President, and we conduct about 24 surveys throughout the year. And these surveys are on everything and anything that you can imagine. Even let's say, the quality of the food, the infrastructure, transport, how engaging education is, anything and everything, that we think that needs assessment. Because when you do surveys, you get mass level insights. So we get like 2,000 responses, and we get to know each and every tiny issue. So in those surveys, we've seen that the student satisfaction has grown by about 25% over the last 3 years. And it's very surprising, because we are only doing small things. And I'm also acknowledge the fact that Dr. Aslam, he was very, in the way he operates, he's focused on quality, and he's never, bypassed anything, and he's very policy and process oriented. And this is the success for all organizations, that they should be system and process driven and not human dependent. And Salim Atta Saab, who's the registrar, also mentioned in his speech. I don't know if you wrote it yourself or so he also mentioned that in the last few years there was a lot of policy making. So this is something which I thought that I can slightly contribute in, that we should create a culture, positive culture, and we should do it run it via policies. So we should try to, see what sort of incentives, what sort of, benefits we can give to people who perform, and how can we create a, better organization. So then we also recently formed this policy formulation committee, in which we have 4 or 5 senior members, and then we're also planning to increase the amount of members in that, so it can be more of a consultative process. So then I like to welcome Dr. Asif Raza. The moment I saw his profile, I was very confident, and I was very sure that the experience that he will bring to UMT, NUST, as we all know, is one of the leading, if not the leading, university in the country. If there's one institution that I really like in terms of the infrastructure that it has, in terms of the impact in research that it has, and in terms of the culture of excellence that it has, that is NUST. And I also want to acknowledge here that Dr. Aslam came from advanced engineering studies. And that's also, if not the best, then it comes in the top 2-3 universities in the country. So I don't look at things as if there's one person who's better than another, or if there's one university which is better than another. Everyone has their own strengths, and everyone is uniquely gifted. So we obviously got a lot of benefit from Dr. Aslam and his experience, and now I am looking forward to getting and incorporating the best practices and the best things that we can take from NUST, from Dr. Asif's experience, because he was instrumental in the growth of NUST in the past 10-12 years. And he was initially heading research and academics, and for the past, I think, 4 or 5 years, he was pro-rector of academics. So I think that this is something which we need to look at, and that is taking, setting benchmarks. and incorporating best practices. And this obviously has to be on a local level also, but it also has to be on a global level. So we need to, whenever I want to do something, I look at what the best global practice is and what are other players doing. And the internet is a sea of learning, and you can go there and see which university is doing what, and a lot of information is available. So my, my vision is that we should obviously first draw from the and be at par with the best local universities that are leading regionally. And our goal is, as you all know, our objective is basically to create a real world impact by solving societal issues through research, learning, thought leadership. And our 2030 target is to be amongst the top 100 universities in Asia. And I am very confident, and I can see it. I said that I can see it. It's like a writing on the wall. I can see it that by 2030, we'll be amongst the top 100 universities in Asia. And the way we are progressing, the trends that we have, the planning that we have done, and I'm sure with Dr. Asif and his experience and his career, remarkable career, and with his skills, and with his vision, and with his ideas, he'll be able to motivate the faculty, take them along, and we'll be able to grow leaps and bounds in each and every factor and discipline and each and every area of the university. I'd like to conclude by asking Allah for His, in this decision, in this transition. I hope it is a successful one. I am very confident it will be a very successful one, and I hope this transition becomes beneficial for the students of the university, for the faculty of the university, for the alumni of the university, for the staff of the university, for the stakeholders of the university, for Pakistan, our country, for our religion, Islam, and for the world at large. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.